Jacob from JacobTubeHD, and welcome back to the movie I want to talk about. The show that continues to make sequels to older episodes of M&M because that got more views than this show. I'm apparently really desperate to relive the nostalgia of 1 year ago. I can't help myself. First Grown-Ups, and now this. We're going back to the fun tropes of the buddy cop film because if it made money once, it can make money every time. Everyone knows how these films go. You got the cop that's too old for this shit and by the book, and the other cop who's the comedic one and is supposed to get on the nerves of the serious cop. With Rush Hour, they are both the funny one, but one can actually fight and kick ass, and the other one has a high-pitched voice. I did forget to mention one thing about the buddy cop trope in the M&M episode where I looked at the first Rush Hour. The perfect buddy cop films can be run into the ground with sequels. This one has 2 sequels and a 3rd sequel being said was in development for years, so who the fuck knows if it's happening? But number 2 and 3 happened, so let's finish off what I started last year. This is Rush Hour 2. This film is about Carter and Lee vacationing in Hong Kong after the events of the first film. However, their plans to relax are ruined by a bomb exploding in the American embassy. Now they have to work together again to track down the dangerous crime kingpin Ricky Tan. Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker are both back in this film, and they actually shot in Hong Kong for every scene that took place there. This sequel is just as fun as the original. Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker carry the same chemistry from the first film into this one, and it's just as fun and hilarious seeing them work off of each other. The new characters are nice additions and work well with our leads, but Jackie and Chris are terrific and carry the movie just like they did in the first film. The action is once again on point thanks to Jackie Chan and his stunt team. Every fight scene is too good for a comedy like this, but they knock it out of the park in every action piece. It's really nice to see the location of Hong Kong in this film. It's a unique location and makes it stand out from the first film. Even when we're back in America, we're in a different location. The final action scene takes place in Las Vegas, which is again a unique location that makes this film stand out. It's also just a nice casino to look at. It's pretty much the first film, but having just enough to make it stand out and feel different from the first film. Rush Hour 2 gets a 4 out of 5 Mushu. Now we need a buddy cop film that takes place 3 years after the last one, even though it was released 6 years after the last one, where they weren't working together for all that time for some reason that drifted them apart. Sounds weird? Don't care. It's happening anyway. This is Rush Hour 3. This film is about Lee and Carter reuniting after a failed assassination attempt on Ambassador Han. The duo finds themselves in Paris to retrieve a list of names that will help them defeat the Triad once and for all. Everyone is back for this 3rd film, including Brett Ratner, who directed the other 2 Rush Hour films. I don't know what else to say that's different from the other 2 because all these films are just so fucking fun. Once again, the thing that carries this movie is Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker's chemistry. This had the most amount of time between a Rush Hour movie until Rush Hour 4 finally gets made, but the way they work off each other makes it seem like no time has passed. The action is also amazing, but I don't want to sound like a broken record here, so let's talk about new things for this 3rd film. The story is really engaging in this movie, bringing back people from Lee's past, but also bringing back characters from the very first Rush Hour film. It's nice to see certain people return from the first film and see how they've grown over the years since the first movie. The only problem I have with this film is that Lee and Carter have a falling out at some point in the movie. It annoys me just because it feels forced and doesn't really leave an impact because they end up at the same place not long after they're done with each other. That moment didn't really need to happen as it doesn't really have an impact on the movie. Despite a small moment that taints the experience a bit, this film still has the same charm the first 2 films had. Rush Hour 3 gets a 4 out of 5 confusing names. Now it's time for the overview of the Rush Hour trilogy. Despite reviewing only 2 of the 3 films in this episode, I did the first film on M&M, so this qualifies for an overview. There's an official book about the rules of an overview when reviewing a movie with multiple sequels that every reviewer has to follow if reviewing multiple films in one episode. If it has 1 sequel, it gets no overview. 2 or more, and it's good to go. Let's just get to the fucking overview. Rush Hour is a blast of a trilogy. It's the perfect vehicle for Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker to showcase their beautiful chemistry and the magic they can create on screen. It's a perfect mix of a martial arts film and a buddy cop film, making it stand out from other buddy cop films. My favorite is the first one for being the best example of this trilogy's incredible comedy and action. Rush Hour 3 is my least favorite because although it's still fun and action-packed, one plot point taints it a bit for me. There we go, I finished Rush Hour a year after I started reviewing it. Was it worth waiting a year? No. Was it fun either way? Hell yes. I think I perfected the buddy cop formula. Now, I still need to solve one mystery that I started in that first Rush Hour review, since I thought I could be like Detective Lee and Carter. Why are there so many Fast and Furious movies? This time last year, Fast X was promoted as the end of the road for the franchise, but now it's apparently still going because Fast X ended with a fucking cliffhanger, and the next film isn't Fast 11, but it'll be Fast X Part 2. Not only that, but apparently the end of the road won't be the end of the road because there's been some teasing of a Fast 12. Why call Fast X the end of the road if the road includes 2 more movies after the end of the road? There's also going to be a spin-off similar to Hobbs and Shaw with The Rock and Jason Momoa. Why keep this franchise going? It's just about cars driving against other cars and they do something ridiculous in every film like go to fucking space. Oh, and don't even tell me to review Fast and Furious next on the show, since I did a franchise with even more films than Fast and Furious, even though the Halloween franchise will probably be overtaken by Fast and Furious by the end of the decade. I would need to be in a really dark and bad place before I started watching every single Fast and Furious movie in one sitting for this show.